Welcome back. This is my quick rundown of the 3.14 patch notes. The first thing I found interesting is Conquerors of the Atlas encounter can now be accessed through the map item. So you can add fragments and scarabs, but I'm not sure if it's a tradable item that could be abused, because if you don't like to do the Conquerors, you just farm them, spawn them, and then itemize them and trade them. Because they are itemized and can be supported by fragments and scarabs and other things, you could wait for a T60 map and then choose it up really nicely and get more loot from the end boss and get more good bases. Then Ritual is now in the Haywalk Hamlet Atlas region, and for Harvest and all type specific divine crafts are removed. So there's still some divine forms, but I believe divine prices will go up. And then I thought about in the Atlas region with the corrupted strongboxes and being on the Zana Mods. That one is maybe one of the best regions, and divine farming is more overpowered now. And maybe some best forms of crafting are just using like the Crusader Exalted Orb to slam on something and crafting it pretty decently before that. And that means that farming Conquerors and Cyrus could be worth quite a lot more for the drops of the specific Exalted Orbs. And they said the Stygian Vices are now almost exclusively available as rewards from Abyssal Deaths encounters, and Delirium Orbs are now exclusive to Delirium encounters. The almost means they should probably still drop from heists. The Abyss Changes, the Abyss Tubers that drop from Abyssal Troves now use the Vaal roll system, so I thought about farming that as well. And if you corrupt your blighted maps, and that seems to be the only way to obtain tainted oils, which could be quite expensive at the start, until there are enough in the market, and the blight map farmers always corrupt the maps and are able to do that. Maybe I just farm a lot of corrupted tier 1 maps until I can do higher tier 1s. Then for betrayal, the biggest part was safe house leaders no longer lose ranks when they are interrogated for mastermind intelligence, so they can stay rank 3 forever or something like that. And maybe just the ones below them lose rank, I'm not sure yet. But maybe you can just make a really insane board. And there are 10 new beast crafting recipes. And in the demo they showed already 6 of them. Exalt Slam, a Crusader item, Redeemer, Elder, Shaper, Warlord or Hunter item. And then there are 4 currently unknown ones. And for the beast farming, you have to be within 250 units, rather 2 screens, the same as the XP range, I think, to be eligible to the capture of the beast, which makes beasts more valuable, because the multi-boxes just go with the second account, or multiple, if they do the illegal kind, and they enter the map and don't move the character from the starting position. Now it's maybe more valuable to do it as a group, the beast farming. And with the new split changes for beasts and delve, means that the mirror prices will also increase quite a lot in price compared to past leaks. Because if you want a really good item, then you have to mirror it and can't just hope for a good fracture or split. Then the cartographer incubators for Legion. They can drop also maps that have the Delhi Orb mod on them. And I'm wondering how common that Delhi Orb part is. Maybe it's worth buying them in bulk and farming Delhi that way. And then I made a ranking for the different leagues. The ritual changes are meh, I'm not sure about them. The same for Harvest, unsure. And Abyss, I think that's quite a good league right now with the well-rolled system. A league mechanic that I think is really strong right now is Blight. Betrayal is also really strong right now. Bestiary, I think it's kind of weak or a lot of nerfs. And maybe if the 4 hidden mods are really good, then it's worth farming. Otherwise, I think not as much. Breach is kind of good because the blessings can now be applied to the stones. Maybe you can apply them multiple times, like 3 blessings is the supercharged stone or the best one, but I'm not sure about that yet. Daily farming is kind of worse than before, but should still be good. Delve is for the beginners, it's more friendly, but for the purely delve-focused people, it probably is a nerf and not as attractive. Essences could be really good, but the essence changes aren't that impressive as far as I could tell, but some changes are quite nice, so it's good to farm that, I think. Heists, I'm still uncertain, should be still decent, but it's not my cup of tea. And Incursion should be really good because of the new itemized temples. Then Legion should still be good, but not as good as last league. Metamorphs, farming is still okay. And Piranha's changes are actually quite big because the selection of items sold by Kadiro has been modernized and the costs have been adjusted accordingly. So I think that's actually quite a big buff. Given the special mod from the Atlas passives, where you get the rarest option. And about the character balance, percentage reservation are now stored with more precision internally, allowing them to have up to 2 decimal places in the percentage value. If you have like 1% reduced mana reservation, that could be a 49.5% mana reservation. And if you have two 50% auras, then you get still 1% of your mana remaining. If you have like 1k mana, then you still have 10 mana left. And if you multiply that times 5, then maybe you can still use some mana stuff. That could maybe be even a nerf for the mana guardians, but for the overall population, this should be really cool. Then you can fix your build more easily. Call of Steel has no longer a cooldown. That could be really cool. And increased character size is now capped at 100%. I believe this also applies to the headhunter buffs, and then the character feet aren't the whole screen. So this should be quite a big buff for headhunter people. Berserk loses a lot of damage, but it still has damage reduction. Anger, I like the buff, because then the spell damage bonus is as high as the damage for attack bonus. Blade Vortex is a bit less convenient with the less AoE and less duration and a little bit less damage, but it should be still very strong. And Blade Storm has a 108% more damage multiplier, while in Bloodstance, which is kind of a big buff in my opinion. Maybe it's because of the downside of the 10% more mana reservation. The Summon Carrying Golem are a bit nerfed, but should still be strong. Toxic Rain, I'm not sure yet if the requirement for AoE is a buff or a nerf, because it affects the spread. And if you have more AoE, you have more clear speed, but maybe if you have less AoE, you actually have more boss damage. So Toxic Rain maybe is then a better boss skill, but I'm not sure yet because I'm not really that used to Toxic Rain playing. And the other nerf is like the move speed reduction for the enemies, which reaches a maximum of 30% compared to previously 60%, which makes the build less tanky, I guess. Wave of Conviction has a small damage buff and makes it more attractive for miners, I think. Then for the wall skills, I'm not sure if people abused that in the past and they changed it, or it's just an overall buff. And for Vaal Blade Vortex, it's kind of meh, but it now has 2 uses, which is huge. And we see this trend later on with all of the other wall skills as well. Wall Burning Arrow has 4 uses now and uses less souls. And Cold Snap, the wall version, has really huge buffs, and it has a lot of AoE for the hit effect and a lot of damage effectiveness. And I think that's really pushing occultists this league. Then Cyclone has quite a lot of the base damage increase, and uses less souls. Earthquake is good because it has 9 aftershock effects. And later on, we see that the Chainbreaker got nerfed, so your skill costs 3 rage, and it isn't per hit anymore. So I think you can like abuse wall skills that have a really long duration and use the Chainbreaker with that. And overall, all of the wall skills got buffed. And about the Blade Storm, a mate of mine told me that the Elder-based bleeding stuff is being removed, so it's actually quite a nerf, despite the buff, or maybe it's just back to base now. And for the passive tree balance, some of the skills that add melee physical damage are now general physical damage or physical attack damage. And now about the Chainbreaker, no longer causes you to lose 5 rage when you hit an enemy, no more than once every 0.3 seconds, and now causes skills to cost 3 rage. So that's the Vaal Earthquake. So use it once, lose 3 rage, and then you have 9 aftershock effects, and can use the rage that way. I have spells that last really long duration and mainly the Vaal skills. Then about the Atlas passive balance. About Haywark Hamlet, I think Paid in Blood is really good because it has 2 additional times of rerolling and double the amount of special ritual altars. Turns End, nothing to say there. Lacks Proxima. The 1% maximum resistance for each voltaxic sulfide vein or chest found in areas. It doesn't mean you have to actually find them and click them, but it could maybe be abused as an indicator of how much sulfide is in a map. So if you don't want to full clear a map or maybe even skip the boss, you just go in, check your maximum resistances, and then you have like 78% res, and then you know that you have like 3 sulfide nodes and maybe even more now, and then you do the map or you just open a new one. And Perandus with the 3 best options should still be very strong because of the priorly mentions that they fixed, which items are actually rare and valuable and which aren't, and then you get the better versions now. The 5% chance of the layers of delirium is a bit sad, but still it dropped a lot of daily maps. Then Glenarch Cairns. I don't like that area that much anymore because of the Beyond change, and mainly the Legion stuff got nerfed quite a bit. And for new Vestir, I think the Total Anarchy and Rogue Traders are actually quite good. I tested it in Solar Self-Found and had a few Rogue Exiles, and I ran the Infused Anarchy mod from Harvest, and then I noticed that the mobs with the 50% chance, they are like Blight Chests or the Legion mobs with special mods on them. And it could be really cool farming them maybe. And about Vaul's Rest, the Harbinger nerf is big, but it could be kind of okay because you get always a king that way, and they drop quite decent stuff. And the actually good part is God Instinct now provides 5 intelligence instead of 3 for every Immortal Syndicate member that is not interrogated. And then for Lyra or Turn, I think the immune response is good because you spawned Blight 150% faster instead of 100% only. So the Blight encounter doesn't take 1 minute anymore. Compared with this one, it would be like 30 seconds. And with this one, it would be down to 20 seconds. That nerf also kind of hurts, but it's not that bad. And the Uncharted Realms, Neural Pathways, now grants 1% chance, previously 0.5%, but it has to be in a T14 or above map instead of in a T11 plus. And I think that's quite good. I like the buff, because most people still run the T14 or higher maps, and now you get more synthesized maps, and Zana offers less of them, and that should increase the value you get from your uncharted realm quite a lot. The gladiator change, the bleeding buff, gets moved to physical over time, and I think Berserker got quite a bit of a big buff. And I have a build idea for the maximum total life recovery from Leech, and the flawlessly savagery applies to attacks and spells, which is also huge. And Assassin got a nerf, then changed about essences. They overall got buffed, and you can use them like chaos orbs now. I'm not sure why they want to push armor so much. And Envy grants added chaos to weapons and quivers for attacks. Essence of Woe got buffed. Essence of Delirium got buffed with the amulet, damage over time. Essence of Hysteria now grants 150% increased recovery per second from Life Leech to amulets, previously 40%. I think that could be really interesting for some builds. And Essence of Insanity has 40% reduced reflected damage to rings for you and your minions. That could be interesting. And the Abyss Jewels, the increased effect of the cold and lightning elements, can buff the shockbot quite a lot. And the build that I posted before, I link it on the top right corner now. And a lot of damage buffs. And pretty much all of the cluster jewels got nerfed and 2 got added. Then for the oils, the green oil has 35% increased XP. Maybe that's interesting for the start, or once you do T60 maps. The teal oil makes the monster spawn faster, and teal now requires you to be 40 seconds shorter in the map. So if you have 3, that's like 2 minutes less in a map, so only 3 minutes per map, plus looting. And the azure oil is now the new teal oil, I guess, with the lucky chests. And the indigo oil adds 3 new bosses to the map, but I'm not sure if the bosses provide any benefit to the map rewards overall. Violet oil grants 20% chance for an additional reward chest. So if you have 3, 6% chance for each lane to have an additional reward. Black oil got nerfed to 6% chance. Opalescent oils gives 50 lucky chests and 5% pack size. Silver oil now grants 65% increased quantity of items. So it's about 210, 195% increased quantity in the area. The crafted Vaal modifier balance, bunch of buffs, a few nerfs, and the trigger socketed spell has now a 8-second internal cooldown compared to 4 seconds before, which is quite a big nerf in my opinion. Death Aura could be viable now. And then the Winter Flasks got buffed. This one is a buff for the shock bot and has increased effect of shock. Then we have 150% physical damage compared to lightning, so you can use the new physical spells and convert them fully to lightning and maybe add Archmage. And the Spellwinter Flask has now like 25% buff. The Rigorous Quiver and Signal Fire are dead for spell builds. Apep's Slumber is quite good now. You can regen 400 energy shield per second. The Cow's Change seems like a nerf, because you now count as on full life, while you are cursed with vulnerability, but the Deep Devils kind of wanted to be low life for the pain attunement and 30% more multiplier. And the Dance of the Offered got quite a big of a buff. You no longer lose the mana, and you now have the Agnostic. And you get a little bit more resistances. And I think this is a better base type. Sacrificial Heart has now, you gain up to a maximum of power charges when you use a Vaal skill. Maybe that's good for some discharge builds, but overall maximum power charges is quite nice. Each act boss drops now better stuff, and you can farm them profitably if desired. I wonder about that. Alice Cannot Die has been removed, and Benevolent Guardian is now the only one that takes damage for a certain amount of time, I believe. And if you kill that one that has this aura, then the others take damage as well. And I wonder if this buff lingers or it just disappears instantly once you kill the one that isn't immune to damage. I'm really wondering how they implement it. The Vaal Pyramid and Arcade map bosses have now more HP. The Arcade really was squishy, but I'm not sure about the Vaal Pyramid because they often wrecked me. Then about Zana Mods. Essence could be quite cheap with the 2C and Breach as well. And maybe I farm those quite a bit. Bloodlines, great for XP. And I think Ambush could be quite good in the zone with the Corrupted Strongboxes in Glennox Cairns with Tamper-Proof. About the Corrupted Strongboxes, they drop a lot of 6-links. And if you use the Ambush, you get 3 extra Strongboxes. Should be worth quite a lot, I think. Harbinger, like for Chaos, like meh. Then Heist, I'm not sure about that either. And Harvest, if Harvest isn't as death as we all think, then this could be okay. Depending on how much good rewards we get from Harvest, then the Chaos might go up in value quite a lot. Like 2 leagues ago, when Delirium was on the Zana pool, we can now filter out with an exclamation mark. So you can maybe filter out maps by typing out exclamation mark mana. If you don't want to run maps with reduced mana regeneration or reflect, then you type like exclamation mark mana, exclamation mark reflect, and pick out all of the maps that don't have these mods, I think. And Olesio Delight unique belt wasn't correctly applying the percent more effect of non-damaging elements per affliction charge. That one has been fixed, so the shockbot should be even stronger now, and the element players. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And until next time, bye bye.